Hello, welcome. My name's Surah. I'm a meditation coach and trainer. Today, talking about the biggest mistakes that coaches make in their sessions and how to fix them. This also comes from experience working in the coaching industry and working with practitioners in general in the health industry. So, whether they're a therapist, a counselor, um, any kind of healing practitioner, these are some of the biggest mistakes that I often see. And I want to cover those with you today. Really great to see you online, by the way. Hello. So, one of the biggest mistakes that practitioners make is that they talk too much. They get on a pedantic rant and they just keep talking and talking, using up all the airspace of a session without letting up for air or taking time to pause. And most importantly, taking time to listen and be receptive. Be receptive to what wants to come through. Be curious about your client. Don't just have it be a one-way conversation where you go into teaching and preaching mode, but be there to have a genuine exchange. Be present for the people that you're working with. The second mistake that many coaches make is that they speak from a place of authority. It's okay to be in your authority, but to speak from a place of authority over another human being, um, that's like a parental role. That is not the kind of healthy, functional role that you are creating with your client just as a peer. Your client is an adult, their own being. And so to speak like you're speaking from a pedestal or higher than them or more knowledgeable than them, rather than asking them and invoking their own inner sense of true authority within themselves. So be mindful of when you're speaking from a place of, I know better than you. See, I told you so. That kind of languaging is not empowering for clients. So be really mindful about the energetics of how you're working together with your client. Thirdly, the biggest mistake is that some practitioners go into psychic reading and prediction mode. So they claim to know your energy and see your energy better than you do. And that's fine if people have that skill, but then they go ahead and start making predictions in your life, making it seem like you can only go this way or that way. And now you don't really have a choice because they're telling you what's going to happen. And there is no way that anybody who is intuitive or clairvoyant can tell you what is going to happen in your life, because moment to moment, life is always changing. And they don't have that kind of power. Just because somebody is psychic and intuitive does not mean that they are spiritually advanced. It does not mean that they are above you in any way. And don't ever give your power away to someone who claims to have this ability and then goes ahead and tells you what to do and gives you some sort of prediction that's going to happen in your life. And then you believe it, because then what happens? You take the bait, you take their advice. When things don't work out, you've given up your own sense of responsibility and ownership over your own life. So be really wary of people who are just doing these psychic readings and creating some sort of predictive force in your life. Fourthly, these coaches tell you what to do. So instead of asking you questions and invoking your own sense of what's right and wrong within you, they tell you what to do. They say, you should do this. You need to cut this person out of your life, or you need to Go work on this, read this book. You need, and it's a very low level way. It's more, the coach is there. If they're a skilled coach, they're there to evoke your own sense of inner wisdom. They're there to ask you what feels right within your being, not tell you what to do like a parent and you take those orders like a child, right? Like you get to think about, what is being fed to you in a session. Okay. Fifthly, the coach perpetuates the idea of separation and victimhood. So the coach, instead of asking questions in a way that helps to elevate the situation, they make it seem like you're a victim in what's happening and you need to separate yourself from the people who are attacking you as a victim. So they sort of perpetuate this bully victim idea in your mind. And instead of really putting you into the seat of, you have complete power and autonomy over what's happening and to notice what's happening, and that you have the power to change it, there's a sense of victimhood that you have to run away, that you have to separate yourself, that you have to, take these huge measures to eradicate yourself out of a situation. And there are some situations that are more dire. So always be aware of your safety. But if the person keeps perpetuating this idea that you're a victim, and this person can harm you and hurt you, and I'm talking about, outside of the realm of abuse where there is, your physical being is in danger. So be mindful of that. But where they're just perpetuating these ideas, be really careful about that. A coach should be making you feel empowered, like you have a lot of choices, and all those choices can come from within you. All right. The sixth biggest mistake is that coaches don't work with the energy of love and compassion. They're working out of an energy of fear. And so you can tell the difference, and I'll share at the end how you know you're working with someone that is a skilled coach, somebody who's really worked on themselves, their own spirituality, their own self, because you feel the sense of expansion and lightness after you work with them. They might bring up some really hard issues, and I'll talk about that. But essentially, they're always working within this feeling of love and compassion. There's no blaming, there's no attacking, there's no accusations, there's no, this person's wrong, you're right, they're this, you're that. It doesn't feel that way. They're really coming from a place of oneness and unity at the end of the day, even though you might take certain actions, right, to remove yourself from situations. It still feels like it's coming from a loving place. Okay, the seventh biggest mistake is that my writing is that they're not really evoking or working with your own wisdom and the guidance and the awareness that's coming from you. So again, they're directing that session from, this is what I feel is happening and this is what you need to do. They're not asking you or inviting you to go into your own body, your own feelings, your own energy to see what is happening with you. How are you processing this experience? They're just looking at it, maybe intuitively, psychically, and then they're making a quick evaluation based on that, without getting you in touch and in tune with your own emotions, thoughts, the stories that are arising within you, and what feels like the next natural step for you. They're just coming from the perspective of, let me give you a reading and tell you what to do. Okay, And the eighth biggest mistake is that they leave people with a feeling of despair and need. Some practitioners have such a strong feeling of fear because they want clients so badly and they need to make an income that they actually instill, and sometimes on a conscious or unconscious level, the feeling of need and despair and hopelessness in their clients in an effort to retain the client. So they kind of push your energy down lower. They lower your energy so that you feel the need to like grasp on to them and to use them as a coach. If a coach is skilled, you'll come away from a session feeling a sense of hope and empowerment and expansiveness. You will feel more in your power, more in your energy. You won't feel like somebody like took the helium out of your balloon or pulled a plug, pulled energy out of your solar plexus, made you feel uprooted and disoriented, confused. And some practitioners, they actually create more dysfunction without even knowing it because they have not done their own healing work. So they're actually creating more dysfunction, more wounding, more codependency because they refuse to look more deeply within themselves. So be really mindful of that. The ninth biggest mistake is that coaches create codependency. So they say things like, they make it feel like you need them in order to achieve your goals, in order to realize your potential, in order to heal, that they have the energy that you need. I have the energy, I can carry the vibration, I have what it takes to put you to the next level. So they immediately create this feeling of codependency, and that the only way that you can get to where you need to go is to work with them for a long period of time for this much money. And they don't really give you a whole lot of options, and they make you feel like they're the answer. So that's a huge mistake. They make you feel like they are the answer for your life and everything that you want and everything you want to experience and achieve and realize. That's the hugest mistake right there. That's also called a red flag. A good skilled coach will make you feel like you're free, like you can work with me and this is how you can work with me, or you're still going to do well even if you don't work with me. They trust that you're going to find a way. They don't make you feel trapped in this limited way of making choices. They make you feel free. They make you still feel like no matter what, you're going to be good. You work with me, you don't work with me, you'll find your way. And they'll leave you with that feeling. The 10th biggest mistake is that some coaches, they're giving a very limited perspective of what's happening in your life. So again, they're creating that victim sense of, this is what's happening to you and this is what you need to do. And they tell you what to do rather than evoke that from you. Because they're not able to create a bigger picture around your experience. They might see your pain and suffering, and then they hone in on fixing your pain and suffering rather than pulling it out and seeing the bigger picture. Sometimes when we're going through hard experiences, oftentimes that bigger picture is a lesson in claiming your own power and expressing your truth and being yourself. And these are spiritual lessons that are being learned. And a skilled coach will be able to provide a healthy, open, bigger perspective, either by asking questions, if there was a lesson in this, what would it be? What are you learning from this? They won't perpetuate this sense of this is happening to you, that victimhood type feeling. They're able to pull it out and give a bigger perspective. They won't blame people in your life for you having certain experiences because nobody has that kind of power over you. So not creating a bigger picture. A skilled coach will know how to create a bigger picture by asking questions and through reframing. The 11th biggest mistake that coaches use are language that's disempowering. So they say things like, don't do that, you should do this. You know, they're putting negative words in your space rather than encouraging you through curiosity, neutrality, just asking questions. It's like they're invested in how you should act and how you should be. And that's when you really, that's a huge red flag when they have this personal investment, when they team up, you know, on a certain side and they're invested in seeing you do take this action or the other action. A skilled coach will trust you. They will trust that you know the way within yourself. And they're not going to feel compelled to say, you should, you shouldn't, do, don't. They won't use language that's polarizing or creates that sense of separation in your life. And separation can be healing, especially when we create healthy boundaries and we determine what those boundaries are. But those boundaries are for everybody's benefit, right? So everybody can grow and develop. So those are the 11 biggest mistakes. And I would say, to put that all in a nutshell, that a coach will make it feel like you need them, that they are the answer, that they know what is best for you. A skilled coach knows that you have the answer. They empower you. You know when you've been in a good session, even if you had to talk about some hard stuff, emotional stuff, right? It's messy. Sometimes coaching can get messy, but you come away feeling lighter, brighter, more expansive, more hopeful, more like yourself. I have been in sessions and I have witnessed sessions where somebody just takes the air out of you. Like they just, in a session, almost create more trauma, more dysfunction. And then you have to go and clear that out because you haven't seen or weren't aware of some of these red flags that these coaches aren't doing right. And again, that comes from the coach not doing their own work. And they're always in that position of authority so that people don't really question them too much. They don't get challenged a lot. So they're always speaking in this way of, I'm up here speaking down to you and you listen to me. So be really mindful if you have that kind of vibe. And if you've been in a session like that, take time to clear the energy. Go out to nature, ground yourself again, release the energy from unhealthy sessions. And I just want to say the coaching industry, the yoga industry, the meditation industry, a lot of people who work as healers and coaches are also deeply wounded. And we're all human. We've all gone through our own traumas, our own life experiences. We're not supposed to be perfect. But there are some people who they deny or they're not aware of what is happening within them, and they project that experience out towards others. So be really careful about who you choose to work with, because you can definitely absorb more of those energies, and you want to feel more balanced and whole and good and healthy when you work with someone. That is an indication of a healthy coaching experience. So thank you so much for being here, for listening. And it's so great to see you here, Sweta and Stephen. Wonderful. Any questions or comments I can help answer? Observations. Well, thanks so much. If you enjoyed this, thumbs up or feel free to share. And I'm sending you lots of love and aloha. Thank you, everybody. Bye.